I don't think we've actually gotten into who or what he is yet, so I'm not going to spoil anything. And as always, in the background, fixing our unfortunate airship is Waldorff Skysteel, the Dwarven Cleric.
Right, Sam.
Yes. Hello, I am Sam. Tonight I will be playing Kai, and all the tech stuff that's going wrong that you guys just saw, that's my fault, so don't worry. It will be fine for the rest of the night. Fingers crossed. Not in the maelstrom. I am under the sea as well. Yeah. That's great.
Jen.
Hello, I'm Jen, and tonight I will be playing the Vesperin / Aaron / Talia, who are many faces of the same person, and we are going under the sea. So that will be exciting and not at all traumatic. Side eye, Ian.
Uh-oh. And Mr. Smith.
Hello, I am Mr. Smith. I'll be playing Rune Ravenswood, stuck on a ship with a dwarf, a golem, a ton of mages, and a fucking Sailix.
Oof. Dangerous.
Gollum. I take offense at that.
You should. Well, this show is sponsored by Smiteworks, the creators of Fantasy Grounds Unity, which is the virtual tabletop we've been using throughout this campaign. If you're interested in using a virtual tabletop, you should go to fantasygrounds.com and check it out. Otherwise, watch as we play on the digital board. I think you will find it has all of the features you might need in a virtual tabletop. Otherwise, we're also sponsored by The Only Sheet, which is an Excel-based character management tool for a single player or a party. It manages all the way up to level 20, works in multiple systems, automates a bunch of things, including inventory. Check it out. They're fantastic. Go to theonlysheet.com if you're interested. And then our music tonight is by Michael Gelfi and Rock Narden. You can find a link to both of their channels in the show notes. And our maps are provided by Che and Piku on Patreon, as well as Seafoot Games on Patreon. If you're looking for maps to print or download, you can check them out, links in the show notes for them as well. But let's get into tonight's game. I think I want to start in the Maelstrom, this disastrous vortex we've all been enveloped in. Now, to paint the picture once more, a canal of sorts atop a mountain with a red citadel sort of nestled in the center. The ship has crashed. The crew's made way, or at least two of them, the wizard, Rune Ravenswood, and Sailix Lavendil. You've met someone standing sentry. He told you you're not to enter this crimson castle of sorts atop Mount Legion. And he said so with a threat. Sailix arrived. You two were determined to enter. He's leapt forth and landed before you. You are spitting distance from each other. I'll ask Sailix, what do you do?
So Sailix kind of just looks to Rune and then looks back to Legion, and he'll take a few steps forward and he's like, I don't have time to deal with this right now. If you'll excuse us, we'll just be going on anyway.
At which point, Rune just takes a step forward, and a ripple of feathers and cawing can be heard as he is pulled into Sailix's shadow and appears at the citadel behind Legion.
Hey, that's not fair.
Now, I want to ask you, Legion. First, describe what Legion looks like.
He essentially looks like the mountain from Game of Thrones, Hafthor Bjornsson. He's exceptionally tall and broad-shouldered, barrel-chested. He stands about 6 feet 9 inches and weighs in at close to about 400 pounds. He is a massive, massive man. He is currently bare-chested. He does have, what do they call it? A torque necklace. The ones that kind of like are the twisted metal, open in the front, and just kind of he's he looks to be barefoot and unarmed, but he is a wall of a person. He's Mount Legion for a reason.
Right, and now Mount Legion. The one thing you urged these newcomers not to do, well, they've done. This wasn't the arrogant elf before you. Rather, the wizard. He's vanished and reappeared at the entrance to your chart, this place you're guarding.
That's a
Looks like he's about to
wily
head-
wizard. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just a wily. That's for danger. And now, what you could do is you could initiate a combat, and if there's a distance to clear, there's a good chance you might be able to clear it, given your nature, if you would like. Now that's sort of
I would vote
escalate.
don't attack wily wizard.
But also do whatever you
Smash wily wizard.
No
Well,
smash.
I
No smash.
I feel like there was a challenge of honorable combat to pass last episode that I really wish that I had accepted. If we can kind of retcon that just a little bit, I think that would actually be kind of a fun challenge. Honorable combat for the right to pass.
Yeah. Well, the wiles of the wizard seem to have put a wrench in it. You could invite him, however, to stand to a deal. So far, Sailix has been quite agreeable. You thought maybe you would see a lance swing in your direction, but doesn't he seem a little bit confident today?
He does at least seem honorable, which is a nice change of pace for what Legion has seen.
Interesting. Yeah. So what would you say to this wizard that's beeline straight for this cartographer? You could turn.
I would say that it'll be more difficult to get out than to get in.
Oh, that's all right. I tend to be smarter than the thing in front of me.
It's a question of which of these two do I put in the ground first?
Oh.
Not the wizard.
Well, I mean, I think I technically could deal with the wizard first if I so chose. Yeah, can I try and make that jump, Ian?
Yeah, so what we would do is we will roll initiative. And if you have initiative
Okay.
I like
ahead of
initiative.
room,
Initiative's good.
Initiative's good.
I'm gonna roll all initiative real fast. And
Okay.
let's add Sir Legion there.
Because I believe it was, what did we say, 50 feet back?
You jumped from the entrance over here, so theoretically you could jump back, no matter what the distance was. He has the jump on initiative, but you have initiative over Sailix. So, Wizard, on your turn, if you're top here, you have a chance to get away. If you do like your odds, indeed, there's a dark citadel before you. It's dimly lit, but there are many chambers within. Presumably, it houses what you're looking for.
I just can't believe I didn't think to lock the damn door.
And why lock them out if you can lock them in? Now,
Not likely.
what do you do, Rune?
Rune is. I'm trying to make sure I have the spell. Oh, good. I have the spell. That's a good start. Rune is going to go. Well, let me ask this. Is the large, brutish mountain looking at the little wizard?
Yeah, he's looking back at you.
Yeah, over the shoulder, kind of trying to keep both of you in sight. Peripheral vision, I would say.
So the wizard sees the beady eyes of the large mountain staring at him. All right. At which point, Rune reaches into a pouch and throws up some sand and disappears into the cloud of sand that's before him as he casts invisibility.
Ooh.
And then we'll take a full move back into said citadel.
Full move.
To not be where he was.
Yeah, it'll take you about 80 or 95 feet.
That's right, Myth.
Away.
Always have pocket sand.
Now, Legion, that puts you next on initiative. At the very most, he's 100 feet away from you. At the very most. But you couldn't make one leap there because he's made some way through the chamber.
But we must always deal with that which is in front of us before dealing with that which we cannot see.
Mm.
So we would turn back to Sailix.
All right. You have 3 actions, and you can stance if you'd like.
Yeah, in order. Mountain stance, mountain stronghold, and activate my shield.
All right. 3 shore steps, none of them hostile. But that brings us to Sailix.
Sailix smiles, inclines his head. Like, I'm sure you're a great guy, but my dance partner just went to the Citadel, and I have to find my mother, so I'll be going. Sailix will shadow step into the Citadel and use Crystal Bastion to seal the door as he walks inside.
The Citadel?
The Citadel.
The Citadel.
These braces give me a horrible lisp.
It's no Citadel.
No honor.
Mm. And then
On a time schedule, mate.
Sort of form around. Okay, well that might institute. All right, that might be a chase scene, actually. I'm gonna get back to it, but for the Vesperin and Kai, I believe we left off deep below the Arcadian Ocean. We are near the ruins of Asland, the settlement of Talisumtree. We left off at the gates to the city. Is that correct?
I think so.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and as you two descend, that moment of hope, sort of. I mean, it seems so welcoming. It's like a homecoming. You're stopped at the gates. A city guard. Suspicious of you, as elven guards should be. 2 hands up. He's unarmed, unlike his ally beside him. No. And he ushers you down. A motion that means specifically to stand on the floor. You notice there's sort of two methods of transportation within the city. People swimming about in a sort of ambiguous space, and then people who are down to the ground, standing, kind of keeping this place level and giving it a sort of floor plan. He asks you to do the latter.
So Kai will swim down level with him, but will not let her feet touch the ground.
V will follow Kai's lead, and like she seems kind of like out of it, but you know, it's just sort of like in that sort of mechanical. All right, I will follow the one who has been here before.
Yeah. Sealf looks at you, Kai. He doesn't recognize you, though. He's young. Makes sense. And who are you? He says. Expecting you. The Vesperin.
Who am I? Real question here, who is you?
Inspecting his own armor.
I think he's new here.
Then he locks eyes with the Vesperin. He urges you to get closer.
She sort of exchanged glances with Kai and kind of shrug and, you know, lean a little closer, but like in a very guarded way, as if she's like expecting him to draw something on her.
Oh, no. He points over to a building, 2, maybe 3 stories, stacked coral and sandstone. Are you here to stay in the prison?
I didn't catch that.
The prison.
The prison. Now, why would we stay in the prison when there are so many wonderful places of lodging? I can see at least 3 from here.
Well, we will do as the guard says. And then he points to the ground, to the soft sand. Stay.
Why would you make us do such a thing?
He looks back. You'll notice there are many people walking along the path, but there are just as many floating about. In a way, it's sort of a caste system in Talisantri. or it's just a way to keep track of people as they come and go. There are several chambers of this entryway that leads into the protected city. And you can feel a very weak artificial current that runs through to sort of guide people along these main roads, and to ease the actual walking along these roads. We have eyes in the city. Easier along the roads. You ought to be trusted.
Do your eyes not also see that she is of the Nako Warden? You would do such disrespect for those who have such a honorable purpose?
It is a purpose in a foreign land.
Foreign land? This is my home.
This is not the home of the Nako. Not confuse it.
I think this chap woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Do you always receive such a warm welcome when you come home?
I do as I'm instructed. I'm instructed to leave now. You may stay.
Good idea.
He points to the various inns, hostels, just outside of the city. This dome is really the equivalent of a castle wall, or like the city walls. And these inns on the outside would be like a farm tavern. You may stay outside.
Perhaps you will wake up on the better side of the bed tomorrow, then.
Perhaps. And he turns and he heads into the city. 2 steps in, he kicks off, take off straight into the ocean sky, as they call it. Not for any reason but to brag that he, in a sense, can do whatever he wants in this city. But with that, I'm going to take it back to the Maelstrom. Legion.
Yeah.
It sounds like these people, they had maybe not a duel in mind, but a mission. Obviously, they want the cartographer, who's somewhere within the Citadel. Are you looking to chase one of them in particular? There is also a ship nearby,
Well,
of course.
They seem to have sealed the doors to the temple.
Oh. Yeah, and we're a wall of crystal.
How far is it to the ship?
At least 150 feet, I believe.
Oh, I can use 3 actions and make 150 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I'll
sure
go towards the
get
ship.
there.
There's only one way off my mountain.
I have a question, Legion.
Yeah.
What do you plan to do to that ship?
Disable it so that these dishonorable folks have to face me.
All right.
Not entirely sure. I'll figure that out once I get there.
Yeah. And Sir Wizard, as you're making your way down the maze that is this red citadel, top Mount Legion, where are your ravens?
Mirakai is likely still on the boat, but Corvus is with me.
All right. You start to see a pattern as you go further down. The living space of what you would call a newcomer. Alchemical reagents, spell components, living equipment, and booze all about the place. In otherwise empty rooms. I mean, this place is in a strange, abandoned state, like it was built and never used. With the exception, now that you're 4, 5, or 6 levels down, you start to see, empty spaces. But now they're full. I mean, it looks like someone's been staying here.
Just one?
Yeah, and you can hear Sailix, only a level above you, searching as well. I mean, it could be a few more people. It's a lot of miscellaneous equipment all around, and there's another staircase on the far end. It goes further, but it'll be about this time that Legion approaches the ship. Marikai is there for them. Your rate, one of the two.
Yes.
You then would see...
Would likely be informing Rune of the oncoming train, so to speak.
Yeah. And as he is headed towards that ship, would Mirakai say anything to him?
Just some concern, because at this range, I believe... Well, no, it's within a mile, so... pardon me, Rune, we seem to have a very large, mountainous man coming at the ship. Help, please.
Rather quickly.
Rune, on the other hand, would stop what he's doing, and via telepathy, Dwarf, are you there, my friend?
Hey.
Get the ship up, just straight up, just up. Go up now, up, up, up. Are you up? Go up.
I
don't ask.
I'm
go
kind
up.
of in the middle of something at the moment.
No, up, up now.
All right. Just stop yelling at me. Waldorff is like, underneath, a beam, trying to like fix a pipe that has broken or burst during the crash landing, and is trying to get things. All right, fine, and he gets out and goes to get the ship up, I suppose.
And it starts to lift. God, that's what you see. Sailix, you make your way down the stairs. You see Rune inspecting the large. What a complex. I mean, there's so much random miscellaneous things here. Cabinet full of antiques. Plenty of booze. What do you wish to do?
Sailix will, I guess I'll pick up a bottle and look at it inquisitively before kind of putting it away in a pouch. Like, sure, Dwarf would love to have some booze from the Maelstrom. Keep that a little bit later.
Dwarf is currently trying to save our ship from the mountain.
Well, I mean, Gil and the guys are on the floor, right?
What?
Now,
the planar guard. They were perimetering the ship.
Listen, as large as that man is, he's clearly been watching this place for a while, and I definitely got the idea he's been doing it against a lot of people. I didn't really want to risk anyone's life if we could just move the ship.
I'm not saying that they should stay on the floor, but I'm just saying, But I guess they'll be there waiting for us when we get out.
Hopefully, yeah. Or the ship will be gone. One of the two. At any rate, I do not get the impression that anyone has been here for a while. I don't think. I'm not really sure.
Right. Well, I mean, there's plenty of booze everywhere.
I mean,
I
that could
doubt
just be the
that.
mountain.
He does seem like he would only function on high octane booze. But
I mean, maybe he's Legion because he hears a lot of voices.
Waldorff, I want you to make me a crafting check for piloting this ship.
Crafting check.
your
Pull up Waldorff real quick.
Said we can find they told us that the cartographer would be here, correct?
Yes, I believe, yes. Keep in mind, this place is made of pure chaos, and that creature was of this place, so,
Right.
there's that. And maybe they will be here, but aren't here yet? We're not quite sure how well time works here, either.
That's great.
Which,
Alright,
if
well,
that's the case, we're in a bit of a pickle with a large mountain man outside his home, and our ship just sort of floating around, trying to stay away from him like a fly.
Hey, it's a bit of a tight squeeze here.
Just keep climbing, you'll be fine. I don't think he can jump that high.
he can jump pretty fucking high.
Now,
What? Who can jump how high? What are you talking? Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a large mountain man. Just stay far away.
Rune, do you have any of the Phoenix Guard or the Planner Guard on telepathy?
Likely. So Rune can have 4 people. Sailix and Dorf are 2 of them. So yeah, he would probably have the lead guard for lead guard and lead mage.
Gilroy Nab and the mage. Well, Gilroy will chime in. There's been a development, Wizard. As your contingency.
By development, do you mean a large man?
Well, he's approaching. In fact, he's rather light. No. We've made a navigational mistake.
We've made a what?
I'm not in the ship. We were guarding the perimeter.
It's not my fault.
Are you sure about that? He calls up. You can hear telepathically. He's yelling to the dwarf. He's on the floor.
Wait.
As the ship.
Where? What? I just said go
The
up.
airship.
Just go up.
Blocked in
Well,
the
like I
canal.
said, it's a bit of a tight squeeze here. We're in a bit of a canal.
Where are
He's turned it
you?
sideways.
Sideways.
We appear
Did you
to
say
be-
turned it
sideways?
It's stuck in the canal. I don't have all the answers with her, but the Legion's approaching.
Are you telling me that our ship is stuck sideways in a canal? Just get a goddamn backhoe and dig yourself out, for God's sakes.
I'm working on it.
Oh. Sailix, I don't think I can take Legion. You hear the sound of swords slowly unsheathing.
You were supposed to go
I
up,
can try.
not sideways. Up. There's only one direction that's up.
I don't see us having a solution to this problem anytime soon, Wizard, so what do you have?
Go up. That's what I had. Go
There was
up.
a twist. There's nothing I could do. The wind caught us at a funny angle and it spun us around sideways.
There's
I
no
don't know what
wind here.
happened.
We're in magic space.
Told you we
Well,
had too
there
much
was a
cargo.
magic current then.
Gil, do not fight Legion.
Oh, thank God.
If anything, he seems amenable. Just talk to him. He might enjoy a nice, rousing conversation with your charming wit. He's all about
Booze.
honor.
Give him all the booze we've got.
All right, Waldorff,
Hey.
gather the crates. We'll see if this even works.
Oh, Lord.
Gilroy turns to inspect in the sky. The Ravenswood stuck sideways in the Mount Legion Canal. We're turning around 180. Look at Legion himself approaching. Sort of with his hands up to his side, so as not to instigate. How can I help you, sir?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think Legion might be trying to instigate. Um, um, so who is addressing Legion?
This will be Sailix's second in command. Gilroy Nab.
And did the ship get off? Did the ship actually get off the ground at all?
You got about 40 feet in the air before you got stuck sideways. Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna leap to the deck.
Ooh. I'm going to cut away for a second, because down below in the Citadel, Sailix and Rune, you're aware of the developments out and up above, but you also see a little nook there in this dungeon-esque, dimly lit room, inkwells, pens, and parchment.
Is it just in general because wizardly things and all around him, and Rune is a wizard, big surprise. He's going to be nosy and see what wizardly things are being written.
Yeah, well, you see certainly a bunch of maps. Places all over Galarian and
Nope,
Avestan.
don't like maps. Not looking at a map.
Interesting. Yeah, well, there's not much more than a bunch of maps. And map-making tools. Compasses obviously aren't working. They're spinning wildly. But the equipment is
that's a
there.
good sign.
A book of mathematical formulas as well.
Cartographer, are you about? Hello?
You hear a voice chiming in from nowhere, essentially. We're about. You must leave here.
Wait, are you the cartographer?
That is me. You
Are you
are in danger.
Are you a mother to anybody?
I'm no mother.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. We need to have a conversation.
With that, Sailix smacks Rune on the back so hard you probably the air rushes from his chest. He's like, told you.
Ah,
Anyway, right.
you hit like a girl. A very, very, very strong girl. My back hurts. God.
cartographer. Do you want to come out so we can see you?
I will tell you once more, you must leave.
I'm really getting tired of being told what to do.
Well, you know, we're our guests here and all. All right, cartographer. We will leave, but we need to have a conversation first.
Well, I guess we will do this the hard way.
Don't do
Suddenly
that. No, see,
on the deck
we just wanted a
starts to spin.
conversation.
Rapidly, they whine as they whir, and suddenly they start to let out this ringing, getting louder and louder and louder until it reaches a screaming pitch. We'll return to that and what that means and the saves you might have to make, but going back under the sea. A coastal landscape, but not one you view from the coast, from underwater. The shore means something different to sea dwellers. It's a place to peer up and look at this distortion and how it affects the vegetation. Rather than looking at the sea from above, you sort of gaze up at the bright water and the foam rolling into the sand. The beach is a very different thing for the amphibious races. It means much the same. A handsome sea elven man sits in the sand and just watches the waves overhead, lapping over, but confused and sort of rubbing his temples. Looks around, unsure as to how he got here, what it means. He's in plain clothes, albeit a bit ill-fitting, visually identical to the guard that we just saw. He stands up, confused, and he peers around. Who is it? Ah! Hello? He looks around.
Vesperin would appear, looking like herself, but like a bit more ethereal. Like, you know, her skin is like softly glowing. Her hair seems to be like supernaturally floating in wind that isn't there, and you know, she's wearing just this like gossamer gown of just exquisite, you know, detail and fabric and everything like that. You turned away the avatar of your deliverance. Why would you do such a thing?
Who are you?
I go by many names, and they have many faces. But I have come to you in a dream. You should draw your own conclusions from that, no?
You wanting the city? No. Looks around and moves up to poke his head out of the water to see off in the distance there is a small coastal town. But it sort of fades when he looks at it. Maybe to protect itself, the scenery sort of changes as he looks around. With his head pounding, he rubs his temples. You a leech,
have such knowledge for you, and I have shown you such beautiful things, and you would call me by such an insult.
Why do you do this?
I wish to show our people a better way. I wish to show where we have been, and she would sort of, the dream would shift. So you see like the primordial path that the sea elves took to, go into the ocean. And where we can go. And then she would show this, like, again, the dream would shift, and she would just show this beautiful utopia where all of the elves of all the different nations are sort of coexisting and intermingling.
No. Looking at this map as well. Looks you dead in the eye. No. It's a myth. It's not real.
Anything that those who wish to have power over you claim is a myth, a dream. And it's all because they do not wish for you to have the audacity to try. I have seen these things. I know it is possible. All you have to do is try. Are you brave enough? Do you desire it enough? Do you dare to dream beyond that which you know?
You could unite our kind. In disbelief, you showed him the history told in legend. Through what you've demonstrated in this dream, the rolling images, it proves to him in his heart for a moment that the elves of the sea did originate from Caiwenys. They believe they came about differently. Legend has it they originally found the sea through an artifact called the Dream Gate. It's been lost to history. They have no idea where it is. It's been so long they don't even know if it is even a real thing. And him seeing this, it changes everything in his eyes. He doesn't know to trust you, but he knows that this is more than he knows how to deal with. He's a lowly city guard and absolutely baffled by this vision. But the vision starts to wane and fade and crack. You can feel yourself, Vesper, and someone is trying to wake you up.
Oh man.
Rather,
She would look to him as, she's starting to wake up. And just be like, time is short. If I did not know what I say I did and what I know, I could not have shown you these things. Tomorrow, you will let us into the city, and you will introduce us to those who are of like mind. You will remember my face.
it sort of fades away, waning. You know it's Kai trying to wake you. Pretty gently. you have a strong link to your wakeful self, so you can fade out of this dream if you would like.
Does he seem convinced?
He seems baffled. He seems as convinced as you could probably make him
Okay.
for what he's seen.
Then I will allow myself to mysteriously disappear, so Kai can wake me up.
Kai's just very gently shaking your shoulder. Aaron?
What is it, darling?
Just wanted to see you open your eyes.
They are open and they are seeing such wonderful sights. And girl could get used to this sort of thing.
You'll notice that her eyes are rimmed red, like she'd been crying. She sort of has a hand over her heart, trying to steady her breathing.
V would sort of, like after a second or two of waking up, like catch her hand. Is everything all right? Did you see something? Did you remember something? What has happened?
One of those dreams that you can't shake.
Do you want to talk about this?
She'll slowly just lean against you, still slightly trembling, having just woken up herself. I don't know. It's just so dark, and it was like I couldn't feel anything. And then I saw you there, and your eyes were just open and staring at the sky, not blinking, not moving.
She would like
Just a bad dream.
pull Kai closer, and just sort of, like arm around and, in the crook of her shoulder, and sort of just try to, will her own strength into her. Did it feel like a memory, or was it?
How could
Do you think it
something
was
like that be a memory when it wasn't just you, though?
What do you mean?
There's just bodies floating in the water. I've seen people dead. I mean, my job is to put people to rest, but I've never seen just so much. I just need to shake it. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Don't. She would start to just, stroke her hair gently. Don't ever be sorry for feeling anything. You are one of the strongest and bravest people that I know. And if it means anything. As far as I'm aware, there is nothing out that exists that can kill me. So you do not have to worry about my body floating out there. But, and her face would kind of fade for a second as she sort of looks down. But our opponent will be an aboleth, and we do not know the situation that we are walking into. So, it is entirely possible, more than likely even, that there will be many that will fall in the process of rooting it out of the city. And we will face it together, and together we will destroy it.
Yeah. Just a silly dream.
Hey. We are all a bit
Just
on
trying.
edge.
She just weakly smiles and we should try and get some sleep. I'm sure we'll have to deal with that one idiot tomorrow again.
I may have made some progress on that front. You know, I just sort of appeared to him as a goddess and offered him divine deliverance, and you know, like you do. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
But you've... What?
And these are just things that I do. Don't worry about it. It'll be great.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
if you want so. Last time when I had bad dreams, you stayed with me. This time maybe I stay with you, ward them off.
Yeah. And she just hop right in the bed.
Okay.
We'll fade out quickly from that scene. Return to normal version. And on the other side, well, there's a lot going on in a little bit of time. So to break it down real fast, we have Mount Legion. The Mount Legion Canal. The Ravenswood is wedged sideways in the Legion Canal in an event that is unheard of and probably quite costly to the Unforgotten, at least by the day. And down below, within the Citadel, there's a wizard and a fighter that is searching for a cartographer. Now, you've triggered the cartographer's trap. Per a warning. Rune, I'll give you an opportunity to disable the trap. It is magical, and it would take some combination of whatever cantrips you can do to try to counteract these energies. I think an Arcana check.
I will absolutely do the Arcana check. His staff has his staff of abjuration has dispel magic in it. Ugh.
Yeah, you have a hero point. It's a very loud trap. Here's three of these compasses
what is
as the gravity.
What is this test for, if I'm asked?
Well, so we're looking to disable a magical trap.
Can I just wait. Wait. Skill feat, because I'm masterful, well, I'm legendary with Arcana. But I believe I have something that allows me to discern magical things easier. But I cannot remember the skill feat. What is it?
Discerning magical
So many
things earlier.
Easier.
So
Easier. Yeah, I know. There's a lot going on here. Bear with me.
this is good because
There's
this
an
wizard v wizard.
absence feat.
Recognize
Like,
spell.
you.
That's the one.
Ah. Looking to recognize
I
this.
automatically identify it.
Ah.
If
Wow.
it is 2 levels lower than what I can cast. So if it's 6 level or lower, I automatically identify.
Hmm.
I'm guessing it's not 6th level.
It
Oh
is
no! I
higher
automatically
than
identify 10. I'm sorry. I just finished reading the feat. If I'm legendary, spell level 10, I auto-identify.
Ah. Yeah. So this is what was referred to in your learning as a trap of the adept. And the reason why is because a mage, if you're looking to trick another mage, that's good but not great, but not bad, what you would do is you would make a spell look as if it weren't an illusion or a mental spell, even though it was. These compasses are spinning, and it's made to look like a trick of the magnetic field. It isn't. He's spinning compasses and applying a mental scream trap on you. The idea is that you wouldn't seek to lock it out of your mind. You would try to break the compasses or disarm the compasses, but it's just spinning around via prestidigitation. Hence, trap of the adept. This person thought you were some budding wizard. It seems.
We're in Ravenswood. The wizard.
There's a block ship, your name on it. So you're looking at a psychic screech being triggered. You can make your save.
What level is it?
Oh boy, it is a extremely high level trap.
All right, that's fair.
But suddenly you
make
hear
save?
a zhzh, 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 as it starts to power down. 8 crystals along the wall. You see like a small copper wire between them. They start to melt. And suddenly the magic starts to fizzle out.
Rune
But
is very confused.
now you get a report from Marikai. Right at about this time is when you hear Marikai report on something that Legion just said. Legion, would you like to repeat what you've said?
So I believe that Legion has leapt up onto the deck of the ship and is trying a bit of diplomacy with is his name Gilroy?
Gilroy Knapp, so he is down on the floor because the ship took off without him and then got stuck.
Gotcha.
But there
So
are many crew.
Maybe we would have stayed down and be parlaying it with Gilroy. And he simply says, the cartographer must not be allowed to leave. We require the cartographer. We must find the mother. Only the cartographer can find the way to the Earth Mother. She must be free.
At which point Rune just verbally yells, "Damn it! I knew it!"
Sailix is now drinking the booze like, Knew what?
She must
The
return to
cartographer
the plane
can
of
find the
Earth
mother.
and be restored. The usurper must be defeated.
Something.
With that, Sailix is like, all right, cartographer, you have 3 seconds to get
Don't
your
get-
ass outside, or I'm gonna start destroying shit. Leviathan extends into a scythe. 1.
Cartographer,
pulls it
we are
back.
looking for the mother.
2.
You haven't any idea. And then it's a sound of like gravel through a wood chipper. And it goes off. Whatever dim light sources, arcane, distant, ever-burning torches sort of fizzle. Again, you hear the sound of more crystals cracking. Well,
All right,
off in the
cartographer.
distance,
Where's the man behind the curtain?
you hear an echo in a faraway room. The sound of a broom falling on the ground. And there's a little desk. It almost sounds like a
I know of
raspberry
only
bell.
one other person who would be so extravagant, and they're no longer with us at this moment. So who the fuck are you?
Sailix is walking towards that room,
You hear more.
dragging Leviathan behind him. He's actually, like, Leviathan's actually emitting that high-pitched frequency, which would be recognized as, like, the beginning of Sailix's battle cry. So, an intimidation check.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, make an intimidation check. Let's see.
Did you get it?
Not.
Plus 30.
Hmm. Rune, what are you doing this time as Sailix is striding over?
Rune is following, but continuing his diatribe of, whoever you are, your toys are breaking, your facade is falling. As I said, I only know of one other individual who is so melodramatic as to do something like this. And I doubt you are they. You are not nearly as legendary. So, cartographer, who are you?
You hear more shuffling, and that voice slowly fading out from the modulation. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No, please don't hurt me. Ah! Getting out of the closet, sort of shuffling behind. Bright in his eyes, looking up at Sailix Lavendil, a gnome, only a couple feet tall, scurries back. In a closet, there are boxes piling over him as he's sort of kicking them aside, trying desperately to keep the hat on his head, and his shit is not together. But he scoots, not at perfect pace with Sailix, because Sir Lavendil keeps getting closer and closer to him.
So Sailix, the scythe is dragging behind him, and he kind of
Sailix,
swipes it, going to,
No!
and he just kind of puts it behind the back of his neck and pulls him closer towards himself.
Now you did that on purpose. And then he looks back at the wizard.
And you are no director.
Sailix will look back at at Rune and be like, oh, it'd be easier just to kill him.
Yeah, well, this one knows where the mother is. So,
Right, I got it.
cartographer, I presume.
What mother?
My mother.
Or mother? I don't know anybody's. You.
Sailix is going to trip him, and with the scythe still behind the back of his neck, he's going to step on his chest and kind of pull it upwards.
He squeaks.
It's like, I've been on a very long journey with some very angry people. Now, you're going to take me to the mother. Now hear nothing more about it.
Now, I swear I don't know your mother, but I'll make you a map. I'll make you the best map.
No
I'll have ink
maps.
that smells like
No maps.
That's like your name. Hmm?
No maps. We'll have no maps here. So, cartographer. What is with you gnomes and titles? At any rate, you have a very large and very dangerous group of entities after you. Are you aware of this?
I've I've heard a little thing or two. Are you sure you don't want a map? Because I'll tell you right now, there's one thing
Don't want
I'm
a
good
map.
at, and I'm really good at making you a map.
Oh, I'm sure you are. Maps are is what's getting you killed. So far, anyway. Or at least it's what these things are after is because you're making them. And I don't really want them. Because I don't want to be the target of these proteins either. So, we're going to ask you a few questions. And then we'll see where that takes us. Does that seem fair?
I'd say that's mighty fair. Now,
No.
before we get into the amount of proteins, I'm pretty sure you're one way out of this place is under direct threat of my Sir Legion. So, should we destabilize a little less and try to build ties with my friend here?
Let's answer the few questions and then we'll deal with Legion. Or we'll have you deal with Legion.
Well, all right. Well, how can I help you,
Are you
gentlemen?
ready? Yeah.
Sure am.
How did you get here? And by here, I mean the Maelstrom.
Well,
All right, just wanted to make sure about that part. Did you intend to come here?
Now, I hardly intend to do anything, but I suppose so.
Are you looking for a way back to the Prime?
Right. I never was very good at math, but I'll tell you right now, I quite like it here. What with threat of Legion and all that, in the Maelstrom, you can find some longevity. Of course, not someone of my line of work, but
Yeah, you
society still.
and your particular line of work here in the Maelstrom do not go well together.
Ah,
Did you know that part?
I'm aware. Now, what brings you to the Maelstrom?
My mother.
Well,
Are you not listening?
I'll help you find her.
apparently
Sailix
my
looks
friend's
incredulous
mother...
in the room like, can I kill him now?
My friend's mother is somewhere here in the Maelstrom.
Mm.
Now, Legion says you can find the mother. What does he mean?
Oh, well, it seems everybody's got a mother. Reckon even you do. Now, all we've got to do is take care of these proteins, and I'll help you find them.
So the proteins reside and come from this place. There's no getting rid of them. You do understand the Maelstrom, right?
Well, I'd like to try to.
So this place is nothing but chaos. Choices upon options upon decisions. None of which can be static at any one point in time. The things you create are antithetical to this place and its creatures, its entities. By all rights, we should kill you. And to be completely honest, the only thing keeping you alive at this point is some hint that you know how to find Sailix's mother.
Antithetical, you say. Well, riddle me this then. I was told a story once by a good friend of mine. He's good at those. Now, what's antithetical to the maelstrom? Well, Axis. Axis came from the maelstrom. Where these things collide, you've got yourself a little borderlands. Now, somewhere along the line, these two things mix. You'd think they cancel each other out. Well, you'd be wrong. A little chunk of this world mixed in there. And in the girdly bits, you start to get some order. Perspective. That's how you make maps.
You're imposing order where chaos is required. You are seeing order where it doesn't necessarily exist. Chaos is chaos for a reason. There are a few entities in this place that are powerful enough to hold their own. I suspect you're not one of them, and you're simply wily. And you have a legion.
I might be dead. What you must understand is, they're looking for somebody. Seems everyone who's not from here, if they're here, they're searching. And hey, if anyone can find it, it'd be me.
Can you find Sailix's mother? Yes or no?
If I say no, do I die?
Yes,
I sure can.
that's the right answer.
Right. And now,
Sailix will kind of let the scythe form back into a sword. His foot's still on his chest, but as he sheaths Leviathan, he'll reach down and grab him, the cartographer, and pick him up by the front of his shirt. Now, you said something about a friend of yours that told you stories.
I've never met the director, I swear.
Sailix will throw him
bitch.
real hard into the wall.
I'm okay. Well,
Where is he?
I think I have amnesia. Who are you?
Rune will lift him up using telekinetic call. I am very protective of my friends. And the director is someone who has been lost to me. Do you know where he is?
Oh, he's alive.
Is he now?
I don't have a map.
Is he safe?
I can make. You'd have to keep him locked away to keep him safe, but I suppose so.
It's fine.
How long ago did you see him?
Time's tricky.
Best guess.
3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Jeez.
All right. How did you meet him? And did he let you walk away?
We've been friends from the start. Now, I can't really get into all of that. I'm not at liberty to say. Once upon a time, a couple of us gnomes got together and decided to do away with our past. We adopted our own names. You've got the director, you've got the architect, you've got the cartographer, and you've got Steve, just to name a few. But that's neither here or
Did you say
there. We've got to
Steve?
enter that into yours. Are you fixating on that name?
No reason. The director, the cartographer, and the architect. How utterly
And
fitting.
Steve.
Oh, and Steve. That's right, Steve. I can't
There's
wait to
the name.
meet Steve.
Right. So we're at an impasse here. Rune, you don't want a map. I need some way to find my mother, and he doesn't want to leave.
Well, he's going to have to come with us because he's not going to be drawing a map. He's simply going to be telling us where to go.
Right. So that means we're going to be taking Legion with us.
I don't know, cartographer. Will the Legion follow you?
Well, I think you might be fighting under the same banner. Take care of these little proteins and
I prefer
talk.
to stay out of their way at this point, because here's the thing, cartographer. The proteins, as you call them, spared us in order to find you. It is only a matter of time before they realize that we have not done our end of the deal.
Well, we might have been implicated in a little trap.
Come again?
I'm sorry. What do you mean by that exactly?
If they let you find me, who's to say they aren't following you?
Yeah, I'd consider that too. At the time, I didn't think much of it, but clearly things have changed. So, are you going to come with us or not?
Sailix is going to, after Rune poses this question, he's going to reach down and just kind of like grab him by his throat. He's like, how long do you think it will take us to get back to the ship? Long enough for you to hold your breath?
I'm coming with you.
Such a great answer. He'll, with his other hand, he'll reach around and grab him by the back of the shirt and just kind of carry him like a suitcase.
Look at this, leaving the house a mess I didn't even prepare. Who leaves a puzzle half finished? Look at that. 1,200 pieces.
We're going to wave his hand and allow magic to fix everything and finish the puzzle.
Think you're so smart. Now you hear chiming in telepathically. Gilroy, maybe Marikai. Legion, what have you been doing in this time?
Talking to Gilroy. And
Yeah,
actually sitting and being civil for once, which is difficult for us. Simply trying to explain the situation.
Yeah. He'll have someone throw a beer down from the ship. The ship blocked in the canal, unrelated to current events. But now, Sailix, Rune, and the cartographer, as you finally emerge, packed up. Yeah, you see Gilroy and Legion. They're having a discussion, talking about things, sharing perspectives.
You must not take the cartographer. Only the cartographer can find the way to her prison so that we may free her.
See, this just gets worse and worse as we keep going. Sailix will kind of drop the cartographer. Right, which I appreciate. But now, word I'm looking
Cartographer,
for.
are you well?
Well, do you like?
You're
You're still carrying him by his shirt.
No, he put him down.
I'm being treated like a briefcase.
Legion, like, one-handed, like, picks him up and sets him back on his feet and, like, dusts him off a little bit.
Right. So, Legion, the cartographer here has said he wishes to come with us to track down the mother in her prison and help release her. Would you be accompanying us on this journey?
You seek the mother as well?
I'm hoping to find her because I'm hoping that she's my mother.
He looks Sailix up and down and goes, "You are not of the Earth realm. We seek the Earth Mother, Cyrazul, who saved us from the usurper when he sacrificed half our number."
Cyrus. Yeah, mine's name is Sans. Sans.
We
Pather-
have protected him in exchange for finding the way. Only through the chaos may we find the path to her prison. You do not seek the Earth Mother. I see it in you.
Well, how about this? I'll make a deal with you. We'll find your Earth Mother, and then we'll find Sailix's mother. And then, as sure as the cartographer is half a bucket's width of knowledge still on the floor, we'll all be even, and we'll go about our merry way.
Legion would turn to the cartographer and say, "Is this the truth he speaks?"
Well,
Sailix just kind of reaches his hand towards Leviathan's hilt, just like touching it gingerly.
now, look, I promised this would be the story of how I met your mother, but it seems he's looking for his mother too. So, craning his neck, looking up at the ship, wedged, now 40 feet up.
We can free
See
the
some-
ship. If this is the way, if this is where the cartographer goes, then I go too.
This is the way.
Very well. We drink! And he, like, gives a big toast to Gilroy and to the cartographer and to Sailix and to Rune, and then drains his... Or you would think that it would drain rather quickly, but it doesn't. His stein seems to be full of mead.
Sailix will turn to look at Rune and just kind of whisper, "I really hope we didn't make a mistake."
Oh, we totally made a mistake.
Yeah. 100% made a mistake.
Yep, 100%.
We're going to fade on that colossal mistake and a costly mistake. You count having your ship blocking the canal. I'm not getting into it again, but down below, under the sea, it would be the next day, wouldn't it? You're approaching the gates to Talasantre once more. Alas, what you do as you approach, getting close, you've made it away from the outskirts of town, towards the entrance to the city again. The scene is a little bit different, though. Your friend is there. He, however, is a bit more scared, cautious. There are 4 guards instead of 2. awaiting the coral entry. It's sort of shaped like an igloo if you count the massive entryway. What do you do to arrive? As you come in, what do you do?
Vesperin looks smart. And just sort of like takes Kai's arm and is like, and she just kind of whispers, okay, just go with it, you're going to hear some things, and, just accept it.
I've learned to go with the flow when it comes with you.
It's a good practice to have, yes.
Yeah.
You figure this out far quicker than my other companions.
After you then.
So she'd approach the guard and just be like, have you had a good chance to sleep on your decisions and your thoughts? To really let them all sink in, all those possibilities.
He looks sad and terrified and just amazed. Yeah. In. And then with a whistle, the kind that would permeate through the water, gates open along 3 chambers. Your assumption is that there's some sort of protective or even dangerous ward outside the shell of this city, because otherwise they probably wouldn't have a good way to guard this thing. And you are correct. If you pass through, you'll see sort of a pearlescent sheen along as you finally get close enough to pass through. The city is well protected. But the 4 guards, the double guard that has been posted along the main gate, immediately open for you 2 to enter.
Thank you.
Kai will sort of lean in closer to Vespa. What did you do to him?
I gave him some hope. And she would,
doesn't look like
you know,
hope.
kind of take Kai. Huh?
That doesn't look like hope.
Well, wait, the gates are open, right? Or are they, like, looking to attack us?
No, they're letting you in.
Okay, cool.
He just looks scared.
Terrified, yeah, but they give you an opening.
She would lean closer as they start, you know, going forward to whisper, sometimes the scariest thing is to dream of something bigger and to see some proof that such a thing is possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to ever get on your bad side.
That is a very good idea. I'm an incredibly petty canto.
Perfect. So they just let us in. All right. I will give like a little salute to the young guard as she walks by him, but yeah.
He does look at you with grave concern. But Kai, what type of place would you be looking to go to first? Since you've been here many times.
Yes, well, Kai is trying to impress Erin, so she would probably take her to like one of the finer taverns, drinking places, and just show her the sights, the places that she's sort of frequented that are sort of the pinnacle of what Telesantry is.
Yeah.
Playing tour guide.
Yeah, and as you arrive, Vesperin, you might have remembered places like this. You visited before, but this place is so far from any major coast that feels different. It isn't. It's for trade, but not tourism. So you'll move things from one coast to another, but you won't see people seeing the sights here. Most land dwellers, they can't even make the 250-foot depth without magic, so the barrier to entry filters out the mundane. This place is extravagant and really just all over the place. You don't even know if Crassius has ever visited, but it's a shame because this place is vibrant, colorful, and despite seeming rather isolationist, can really be a lot like Vire, except under the sea.
I feel like
there's a cheering mood.
for the most part, you know, Erin would, you know, again be like she's obviously impressed but like trying to play it off cool, like, trying not to look like I haven't been under the sea in 80 years, but like, oh yeah, whatever, like this is cool. But there would be periodic times where again she would just kind of like stop and freeze for a moment with just that sort of like panicked look in her face, just like recognizing something that's has a similar vibe to Asizazi, and she would take like a few moments to like regain her bearings, just like very strongly hanging on to Gold Mantle, for that like modicum of control or whatever, and then just like look really embarrassed like to Kai, like sorry,
Yeah, I feel like in those moments Kai would just sort of gently take Erin's hand and just wait for the moment to pass. Probably nearing like after an hour or so, Kai would look over at Erin. I suppose we should finally actually do what we came here to do.
It is a shame that there is always business to interrupt the pleasure.
Just makes the pleasure that much more enjoyable.
That is true, darling. But thank you for playing tour guide. It would have been far more difficult if I had to come to a place like this by myself.
I'll always show you around where you need to. She sort of looks around, looks up at sort of the light filtering in through the dome from the sun above, if you could kind of see that. They said Diedrich was supposed to be here. Should probably go catch up with him. He came a little bit earlier.
Yes, I definitely think what we need right now is obviously we are having too much fun. We need our rain cloud to buck it all up, to add more dourness and, make us feel bad for enjoying ourselves and, instead of having those. Very drawn expressions. You know that thing with your face where your lips are going like this? That cannot do. Not in the presence of Dietrich. No.
You are too harsh on Diedrich. I'm telling you. He has a soft spot.
Theobald used to say the same thing, but I believe he was referring to the soft spot that he stabbed once.
No, not that one.
There are two soft spots, you do not say.
There are far more than 2 soft spots. I made a joke. Haha.
I imagine it is only because we are underwater that you are not catching on fire spontaneously, because you have just broken the universe.
All right. It took you too long enough to get here. Why were you delayed?
Sea serpents, the weather. Sometimes you don't get a good enough wind. Having to show a beautiful lady the sights, that sort of thing.
You were making a day of it then.
Day and night. Yeah.
Who can really say what time is under the water anyway? Like, that's really more of a surface thing.
Whatever you choose to do together is not my business.
That
However,
is
I
correct.
expect things to be done on time.
Ah, yes. Where once again we are here to solve your problems, and you get to make all of the demands without offering anything in exchange. I certainly love these arrangements of yours.
Yes. I'm glad you agree.
Yep, we agree. Should we move someplace else instead of in the middle of the street?
When we are
That would be
Dietrich,
wise.
that is a favor that I will call upon you for. You owe me enough.
Do I? Interesting.
Indeed. But I think you will like this one.
Alrighty, you two. Let's go.
Just to arouse the suspicion.
Yes.
Quite a lot of people.
Well, for what it's worth, it's hard for Diedrich to not rouse much of anything. I would like to point out he is in a 9-foot tall suit of golem-like armor.
As
in
per
case
usual.
you were unaware.
He's always better.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Everyone is staring.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. He's even larger than the shark folk, as we would call them right now.
I just
Talking
like
about
that,
the town.
like at one point, like Aaron's just gonna whisper to Kai, like, I don't think he attracts that much attention. I mean, he looks like one of those things that, the humans when they have like the fish tanks and then they have the little man inside. Is like, he's our little man.
Yeah, you don't really see much of that around Pelisantri. He's kind of one in himself. Let's get him sitting down somewhere.
What's your
Is there
surprise?
in a chair that will hold?
I have set up shop. Please follow me.
And with that,
Lead the way.
as you head over, you begin the mission. The long job. Far away from home. Middle of Telesantri. Well, let's take it back into the plane of oh god, oh fuck. That is the Maelstrom. On board the ship, which has made quick work of being cleared from the canal, the topicality, you're now coasting through space with minimal damages. There's a couple of things, a couple of scenes. Before we begin, pretty mundane journey. You have a lot of travel, and it seems that the only way to really get there is to wander, find someone with a map. Well, Waldorff. You're in the engine room. Is that correct?
Usually.
The sound of heavy metal boots plodding from the short hallway in this rather small airship, making way to this engine room. You know it to be Sailix. Good.
Oh, Waldorff
Got you a
wouldn't even
gift.
look up. Oh, did you know? At
Hey,
that, he would look up.
He sits a bottle of whatever liquor he pulled from the Citadel, or the wherever they pulled the cartographer from, in front of Dorf. He's like, I have no idea if it's any good or not, but I'm pretty sure that was made here, and it might be a few hundred years old. So,
Well,
be
there's only
careful.
one way to find out, isn't there?
Right. So, I feel like I need to apprise you of what's going on, since you're a part of this crew.
Oh, you mean the monster you've brought on board?
Right, the reason we brought the monster on board. How would Rune put this? His charge is going to lead us to the mother that is in chains. There's a chance that she's going to be my mother. Just a chance, though. At the very least, this is a heading for us to start with. But I'm telling you this because of what happened recently. We might be ending up in another war.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's just par for the course with you, isn't it?
Right.
So wait, are you saying that mountain of a man out there might be your brother?
I mean, my mother is
I don't see the resemblance. I mean, like you, and then like him, and then you, like.
I mean, so my mother was the daughter of a great wolf spirit, and I'm really not sure what my grandmother was, so it's possible.
Around you lot,
Hey.
anything is possible.
Look, my uncle is the god of pain. So,
Oh, so that's where you get it from.
yeah, you know. But
Well,
I wanted to address this with you because I understand that sometimes war will break people. And I'm not trying to drag you through.
Waldorff chuckles at that. Oh, lad. Sailix, if I could be any more broken. Trust me, boyo. It's not possible. If I thought it was, I wouldn't be here with you. And he kind of turns back to his work and he goes, don't worry. No matter where you lead, I shall follow. I mean, at least things are interesting. But
Right.
don't you worry about me.
He'll kind of tap the top of the bottle that he left. Don't forget, still gotta finish the rest of his armor. As he's walking back to the front. When we get back to the material plane, the best thing that plane has ever seen better be on his ass.
You get me the materials, and I will do my best. Never can tell what we might find out here.
That's the scary part. Let's find something good, shall we?
And Waldorff, like, as Sailix is walking away, like, cracks the bottle and just takes a big old swig. Oh! Whew! Oh, that's the good stuff, isn't it? Oh.
Really gonna look back and be like, careful with that. We might have to burn that for fuel later.
On my arse, you will.
Well, up top. Rune, what have you done with this cartographer?
Well, Rune has attempted to get as much information as he can out of the cartographer. However, if said individual's story of the director, the architect, Steve, and themselves are true, he does not expect to get too much. So, he's going to divert his attention to the gigantic mountain known as Legion and head in that direction. Pardon
I
me.
think
The
the
wizard
Legion
stared.
might be...
They just stare at Legion out of curiosity. The elf mages, 7 in all. Elfan.
You are Legion, yes?
We are Legion.
From Plane of Earth. Are you by chance they call it Zeomorn?
We have not heard that word in quite some time.
Like that as yes.
Aye,
Then.
we are. We are.
Could you tell me more about this event that happened to you? What brought you to this place?
And he goes quiet for a long time. It is hard to remember. There are...
But the stone never forgets.
No. But we are many. And the words are few. The usurper...
Rune will switch to Terran. Would this be an easier language to talk in?
He perks up at that. Oh. And his voice actually shifts a bit to sound more like tumbling boulders and cracking rocks. And he essentially tells a story in the language of stone about the god Erzul, who came to the earth plane and imprisoned Cyrazul, the creator and mother of the earth plane, in a gem that cannot be found. And he tricked them, essentially, and eventually sacrificed a full half of the population, and follows it up with just kind of a level look to Rune. We are they who were sacrificed. Our mother saved us and put us here to find her and free her.
You Rune will reach into a bag and pull out some stones and sand and mixture of stones, crystals and actual rocks and whatnot, and use them to help sort of form some of the language of Terran. You described that your mother was, or this mother was placed into a gem, you said? Do you happen to know what this gem looks like, by chance?
We have not seen the Moaning Diamond before, but we hear her call through the chaos. We hear her call to us to free her.
All right. What... It sounds like a very strange question, given that you just called it the Moaning Diamond. What exactly does it sound like?
From his throat, it sounds like 1,000 voices all crying out at once. A cacophony. Just a chorus of voices all trying to speak over each other. It's hard to listen to. It's impossible to describe. It literally sounds like 1,000 souls screaming out all at once.
And you hear that now?
We hear it always.
I am so very sorry.
Your sorrow is noted and appreciated, but unnecessary. We will find her. We will free her. And then the sorrow will end.
What was the reason that your people were killed? Do you know?
You do not remember. A deal was struck. And then the usurper changed the deal. A bargain. It has been
Do you know this bargain?
too long.
Do you know this bargain or no?
We do not.
And the name of the usurper, what was that again?
Erzul,
Erzul.
the usurper.
And what was the other name?
The mother is Sairazul. She must be freed and
Oh, I got that
restored
part.
to her throne.
Now, look. Cartographer's going to chime in from his palms. We have a long way to go, but we've got a long time to get there. Could I offer you?
Here's how this is going to work. Oh, go ahead. Give me your offer.
Well, not if you seem to know. I was just going to extend an offer. Should you enjoy a piece of shrimp in these tumultuous times?
Sailix will pick him up and dangle him
Shrimp?
over the side of the boat.
Oh,
I'm sorry, what?
right.
We only eat eggs on this boat.
It sounds like he's allergic.
I think Legion at that Legion would come over and pick Sailix up by the back of the neck, and just like both Sailix and the cartographer back onto the deck of the ship. Just don't.
All
That is
right.
not-
Now that everyone's picked everyone else up, I hope you all feel better. Cartographer, this is how this has to
not
work.
good.
Every day, we are going to roll the bones. You're going to call a number on those bones. If we get that number within one space, you pick a direction. Any other number, I pick a direction.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right.
We're looking for the borderlands where the maelstrom meets Axis. Should we get there, you'll find your perspective real different.
Chaos. May
That's where we make
find
the
a
map.
path.
Let's get there first before we talk about any other maps, shall we?
Can do.
So, shall we roll the bones for today then?
He looks receptive. Quite short.
Pick a number between 3 and 18.
11.
So we must get a 10, 11, or 12 for you to choose where we go next. Look at that.
Mm. Well, how am I supposed to pick? Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, we gotta go down. Put a poke in his head. It's hard to see the difference between any splotch in the sky. It shifts so frequently. But there's sort of a fuzziness down there. It's muted. Does that sound like a plan?
The bones favored you today. We're going down for one day.
All right. Well, you heard him, strong dwarf man. Let's go. Now, this begins a bit of a journey. You're making your way across the maelstrom. You have a long way to go. In essence, it might take a number of weeks, at the very least, before we find anything important. Real quick, you will find some small settlements. You're looking at the grand total of what would be considered an equivalent of like a village, maybe 80 or 90 people. These are about the largest structures you'll want to encounter. Obviously, if you're looking, you could maybe reach cities, but if you want to avoid proteins, I say you probably stay away from any main cities. And there are many cities in the Maelstrom. But with that said, I want to take it back to Galarian, to the sea. Vesperin, you've also had some time. And I want to ask, on a typical mid-oath day work week, what would you be doing right now? What's standard work for the Vesper?
Mostly, again, I feel like work for her is kind of, I don't want to necessarily say carousing, but but basically, going about gathering information, trying to ingratiate herself into society. She'd probably follow up with the guards to see if anyone else was inclined to hear more about some of the stuff that what dreams could come, I guess. But yeah, pretty much work for her probably doesn't look like work to anybody else.
Yeah, I see a lot of layers of secret identities or public identities with a sort of a spin, because now you're sort of weaving yourself as a mystical character to some of these people. Even if the stories that some of these people might tell about you aren't believable to the figures, if this guard were to try to spread the word that you know the location of the Dream Gate, he'd probably lose his job in minutes flat. So, surprised, a lot of rumors don't seem to spread out of just fear and superstition. One thing you learn is that the merfolk, who don't regard the sea elves as equals, they tend to rule Talus Entry with a coral or chitin fist. But on one of your days, you're conducting this business, sort of making connections. These elves are traditionalists in a lot of senses. Many of them still worship Desmond. Outside one such temple, business is being conducted as administrative work is often carried out in temples. That seems to be true for any non-chaotic deity, really. You're approached by Kai. Go ahead.
You busy?
She would sort of look to whomever and give them a generous tip or whatever, and just sort of turn back to Kai. Not anymore. What's going on?
Kai will immediately take your hand and start pulling you away from the temple district. Follow me.
Is everything everything okay? Do we need to be alarmed? This is the part where we go running and screaming with the pitchforks and the fire behind us, or is this more of those situations where you want me alone?
Kai is actually very serious right now and doesn't respond until she gets you back to like where you guys have been staying or where we've been staying. And like once she finally closes the door behind the two of you, or two of us, I was supposed to meet up with Diedrich 2 days ago and he hasn't shown up. I thought maybe he was just late, and he's never fucking late. I don't know where he's at.
Okay,
You know that he's always on time.
yeah. I'm surprised, honestly, that there is not, some sort of watch built into his skin, like some sort of clockwork device. Although
There
I
is
suppose that
one.
there could. Oh, in the armor?
Indeed, there is.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that is neither here nor there. The point is, what was he doing last? Though, to be fair, given his terrible personality, I would not entirely be surprised if he pissed somebody off and they, grabbed him.
She'll just like put both her hands on your shoulders. This isn't a time for jokes. Something has happened to Diedrich.
Vesperin would put both of her hands on the side of Kai's face and be like, darling, we will figure this out. But also, it is not the time to panic, okay? So, from the top, where was he last, and what was he doing?
Speaking of contacts, he doesn't fill me in on everything that he's doing.
So, you do not know who or where, just that you missed the rendezvous.
Well, I've looked every single place that he's been. I've talked to everyone that he's talked to. It's like he just disappeared.
The merfolk do not particularly take kindly to us, and take even less kindly to the albatross. So it is entirely possible that he got kidnapped by one of them, or their people, or whatever. But we can ask around, we can find out. Well, again, he is nothing if not resilient.
Aaron, how does a fucking 9-foot man go missing? Just disappear. Nothing was out of place. Nothing was out of place. I checked his rooms.
Can I check his rooms?
You can. Interesting to note, as you were to look sort of in the direction where he was staying, you see nearby, up in the water side, that elven guard He's watching you both. You see him now and again. He definitely keeps tabs on you most days. Vesperin, that is days that you choose to be seen within the city. But yeah, and he sure thinks he knows where you are at all times. This being one of them, and he's just sort of watching you, not trying to be hidden.
She would look at that and kind of decide to, just kind of gives a shrug of fuck it, and swims up to him.
Yeah.
Hello, my friend. I was wondering if you could help us out. We seem to have lost a 9-foot tall man in armor. Would you happen to know where one would abscond with such a person?
What if I was to tell you you were seen in the undertow? Come.
She would gesture to Kai to, come forward.
Yep, I would swim up.
Points to a sort of opening in the rock floor. You can see another layer below of this civilization carved out on the seabed. People traveling about. Vesperin is all too familiar with the undertow. It's a sort of, it's a literal underbelly, and a seedy place where the criminals were organized. The guards have been keeping tabs on it for as long as it's existed, and they've let it maintain itself through some idealized threshold of criminal activity, whatever they would consider allowable. But he urges you to descend with him to further investigate. And he'll explain to you that he was last seen in the center of town. A fight broke out between the Sahuagin, which are the shark folk, and the merfolk that have been visiting to collect taxes. But it's strange, people don't go missing during brawls, they get injured. And while people were injured, what's surprising is that a 9-foot-tall tower of a man managed to vanish in the middle of this din. It doesn't make any sense. The guard, consisting of sea elves, merfolk, and others, they're cleaning up this little town square, this little market in this underground cave below the city. But they can't seem to figure out why someone would go missing during it. So what do you two do?
I want to investigate the crime scene, to see if there's, anything I can perceive as far as, where, first of all, where, if there's any hidden sewers or alleys or passages that, would be a good place to quickly grab and shove somebody down, if you are looking to make a quick escape.
Right, yeah. You make a perception check for that. And what about you, Kai? What would you do?
Kai is interested in why this guard seems to know so much. If he's just a gate guard or if he has been stationed here in the undertow, it seems weird that he would know to her. So she'd be questioning him.
I will remind you, Ian, I have legendary perception. So if that is a crit fail, it is a regular fail.
Right. Yeah, you can't seem to make out anything for like a secret passage or anything, any strategic place. And of course there are alleys, but this place only branches out in so many directions. One thing you do notice is it's sort of like a cold spot and also a dry patch. There is sand along the floor of this market, so that feet aren't cut as they walk along the floor. A chunk is missing. There's a spot roughly where the fight was, but there's a spot just completely bare of sand, and you would be able to make it out only with a keen eye, but it's as if it was scooped up and vanished suddenly, right in the middle of that market.
I feel like she would point the spot out to Kai and be like, do you know of a spell that would do this thing?
Yeah. Let's see. Can I make a roll?
Yeah.
Spell that would do this.
Arcana, probably.
On it.
It is curious. Yeah, with a nat 19, some sort of teleportation magic. Not used at
Yeah,
all, used
okay.
against crap.
Used against?
That's what it appears to be.
Yeah, Kai would relay this to Aaron, just sort of bending down and looking over the spot. Somebody teleported him out of here.
She would like look at the guard then and be like, alright, do you know of anyone with the motive and desire to, if they are not magically minded in and of themselves, to hire someone magically minded to abscond with a 9-foot-tall member of the Albatross?
You notice, moving in, those merfolk from out of town come from several cities. It's the Kitty Empire, as it's called. Merfolk recently have taken over. They've bought out most of the city, and now they've moved to collect taxes. That's what caused this fight. But they sort of move in suspiciously. It prompts the guard to return to his suspicion. Can't be seen. I have theories. We will talk. He swims up out of the undertow to return to his duties. You get the idea. He understands it's important for you to maintain your cover in this, that you might be useful in the future.
Kai just seems frazzled. Oh, Kai doesn't understand why the guard is leaving and seems extremely frazzled at this whole thing.
Can I do a perception on the merfolk that are looking? I basically want to know if I recognize any of them or have heard anything about them.
Yeah. No, it looks like they came here to collect taxes. They moved down to the Undertow. The shark folk got mad. Started to fight. You could presume maybe Deidre got involved to try to figure out what was happening. But that doesn't even really track. It sounds like he disappeared in the center of town, right in the Undertow, though. And by the way that the sand was scooped up, it means it was a forceful spell, rather than his own vanishing that did it. He wasn't fleeing. Maybe he was taken somewhere. But
Okay.
the dust is settling and the merfolk are moving in. I take it you to use this opportunity to return to relative cover?
Yeah.
Vesperin would take Kai's arm and just sort of like do that thing where she, gestures towards the merfolk and then gestures up or whatever. Saying in so many words, we should leave.
Yeah. I would just follow his lead.
All right. We'll fade with that and return to the Maelstrom. Legion, Rune, Sailix, and Waldorff have spent many weeks traveling. Do you have anything of import to mention now that you would have done during this trip? That's a lot of time to kill.
Legion is just putting his physicality to work and helping out around the ship, basically. Pulling ropes and doing rigging, and he's a workhorse, and that's what he does best.
Sailix would have done a lot of calisthenics training with the planar guard and Phoenix guard. Pretty much just nonstop, probably, unless he was bugging Rune or something, which probably happened pretty often. Like, if you try to break it up into a 24-hour day, he trained with the guard probably a good 12 to 13 hours, and then bugged Rune for like 3 to 4 hours, and then slept.
That's fair.
Yeah, anytime Legion isn't actively helping out with the crew, he would be sitting on the prow of the ship meditating. Full on stereotype.
For Rune's part, he will regale Sailix with what he learned concerning Arzul and Sarazul. Specifically noting that Sarazul is the mother trapped in a cage or prison of some kind called the Moaning Diamond.
All right. Sailix would ask Rune if he thinks it has anything to do with like the Gem of the Wise or anything like that.
That was the first thing I thought too, and was really concerned for a moment, but I think we're safe.
Yeah.
Long shots.
Now, given that the powers that be are giving the yeah sound, I can hear it, I can feel it in the air. I think we're screwed anyway. But based on the information I have right now, yeah, I think we're all right.
Interesting. Oh man.
Aside from that, Rune will aside from telling the story, Rune will be trying to see if there's any correlation between Zon Cathon and that Brady bunch of really weird and dark deities, and this Arazul or Sarazul.
Oh, don't be hysterical. Well, there's nothing you can find directly. Mythology is very vague. You can find a strange connection distantly if you inspect the meaning behind Sarazul, the plane of Earth, the maelstrom. You see mentions of what's called Valenhall, sometimes Valhalla, but no connection to the plane of shadow, or this gem of the wise, this eye of the wise, rather. But on this morning, as Sailix trains Waldorff.
Feed and water your wizard? Seriously?
I didn't put anyone up to anything. Now you're greeted with a sight much like the form of a dragon off in the distance.
Oh shit.
A green beast.
That brings back memories.
Yeah, a bit bigger than a beaver. Lands on the ship. Do you remember his name?
Nizik Chiliark.
Mitzaplik?
Nizik Chiliark.
That would be the name. Where is the rune of Ravenswood?
It's
Is he
just really
speaking in
Ravenswood,
common?
but
He's speaking in the hisses and the ticks, squeaks.
Sailix nonplussed about him anymore. He's like,
It's Protean.
it's really just rune Ravenswood, but I do like the turn of phrase.
Legion is definitely like wherever the cartographer is right now.
Oh yeah.
Personal bodyguard.
Where is he? As to the wizard.
Could you reiterate what the plan was exactly?
Find the cartographer.
Yep.
Bring him to me.
Right.
I will take him. The damage mitigated in the name of the Maelstrom, and in return I will take you where you need.
Right. So we found him. We are working a path back to where we need to go next. And then I think we'll be able to find our path back to you.
Where will he take you?
Away from here.
The deceit I smell. Legion.
No.
Odin called out.
Well, yeah, Legion's here too, but that's not deceit. We're going someplace that isn't here.
The mission, as I saw it, was to protect Legion. Out of mercy, out of pity. My kind will destroy him. But the cartographer, he could destroy everything. You must bring him to me.
So how exactly does this destruction of everything work? Is it just because he makes maps?
I haven't the means even to explain to you what it means to chart this.
Oh, so no, I understand that part. I get the concept of trying to map the unmappable. I get the concept. If we're taking him out of the maelstrom, will that suffice?
He would threaten us either way.
He would threaten you if he's not in the if he's not in the maelstrom. How can he affect you?
This map.
I mean, he could just pop off to Nirvana, right?
Such a wayfinder to exist outside of this plane at that. It is danger.
Listen.
Would you bring our chaos to your...
I'm not looking to let him stay here.
Order the arrangement, it bleeds.
There can be no order in the arrangement. There can be no order anywhere, really.
Legion.
A rumble from below decks is heard.
Do you understand what this might mean?
No. But understanding is not needed. Only the way must be found.
History won't see that I tried to prevent this. This war, my kind will find you. It's self-preservation, nothing more.
If he's not going to be here, what's the point?
No. But you would return.
I might return, yeah, but why would he?
Footsteps are heard coming from the stairs to below decks, and Legion appears at the top of the stairway. Again, unarmed. Unarmed. He simply crosses his arms and stares at the Protean.
Listen, I get it. He's trying to bring an order to the chaos. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right about that. Not really the point that I'm trying to get to. We're looking to take the order out of the chaos altogether. Deposit that silly little bastard somewhere along the borderline to Nirvana, where he can go off and have tea and crumpets.
All things change. Order descends into chaos. Chaos finds order. And these will repeat for eternity. We are. We always have been. We always shall be. You think too small, Green One. Order cannot be made from the maelstrom. It shall always return to that which it was.
I think I got that part.
Let us be. Leave us. Let us be.
There's something you're missing about this cartographer. You know him not. Not his mission, not why he was sent here. To think he's wandered into this place, it is a farce. This is a part of something.
If he is in any way connected, to the director, yeah, I fully understand that. However, he wound up here was entirely on purpose. The fact still remains he's leaving for now.
This place. Allow us to.
Besides, what do you know of him? What do you know of the...
He was set for access. The borderlands will melt at the seams. My kind won't let it happen. You'll see war first.
What does this have to... Does this have anything to do with ones known as the director and the architect and Steve, by chance?
What do you know of Steve?
No such name for those wanderers. Free agents, it seems. But the cartographer, plane walker to Axis. For that plane he operates. He's a threat to us. He's not here of curiosity or of favor. Your steps along the path, you hand him to me. There will be no war. If you continue, I have no guarantees.
Oh, there will be no war. Only slaughter. Bother us no more.
Sailix wanders over to Rune, just kind of like places his hand on his shoulder, like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't speak in clicks and bird calls. But you're making my wizard upset. I do not appreciate that because I have to be on this boat with him for another however long we're going to be on here.
Protein leans over, dragon-like, sort of turns and shifts. And in Taldane, or common, dear elf, they've just started a war. And with that, he sort of just falls off the side of the ship and barrels over before vanishing into liquid chaos as the ship gently floats on.
Fucking Felix doesn't like turn to face Rune. His face is just like side by side, eyes closed, and he's like, I just want to put it on the record. I didn't start this one.
I would like to correct the record. Yes, you did.
You could have had him. Like, I don't know what the justifications were, but
I would agree with the one-eyed man. You did begin this when you took the cartographer from my temple. So yes, you did begin this war.
They could have taken him.
He was safe there. You removed him.
Sailix keeps walking away back to training. Like, they knew where the place was. How do you think we found it?
None had passed before you.
Big, green,
There
and
was
ugly that
something
just saw
particularly-
Because you were the first. I have destroyed all
Listen, there was
others
something
who
particularly
chose
unique about that protean.
to try.
They were looking to save or not harm, I guess, you, Legion, for whatever reason. They were being very careful to target the cartographer very specifically.
They could not harm Legion. That is why they chose not to.
I appreciate your narcissism, but suffice it to say, they had every intention of protecting you and giving fuck all about the cartographer. Where is the little bastard anyway?
He is safe below decks with.
He's still on the
dwarf.
boat, right?
Of course. Where the cartographer goes, I go.
Who exactly follows who between the two of you?
I follow him.
All right.
Well,
And if he were to say-
wait, he stays where I do not. And he goes into a deep state of thought. He's like, this does not compute.
Fuck. Cartographer, where are you? Someone find the little bastard.
Waldorff knows where he is.
Rudy gets the entire ship looking for the squeaky little gnome.
We think that Waldorff and the cartographer have dipped into that bottle that Sailix dropped off.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both sitting on individual crates, drinking away. You see with a piece of cardboard, maybe a piece of charcoal, he's scrawled a little map or something in his drunkenness.
Rune wipes away without even looking at it.
Well, wait, no, we were having it. What's going on?
We had a visit
Is that?
from a protean.
Oh, the proteins. Wait,
Yeah,
I thought I heard
protein.
the proteins.
Oh, the big green guy. Oh, with the dragony face.
Yeah, the
right.
big green guy. Yeah.
He's a big one, isn't he?
Steps out from the shadows behind the cartographer, kind of leans his head down right next to his, and like, yeah, the proteins came.
What did he do? What did you do to piss them off so much?
He makes maps.
What's wrong with making maps? Helps you know where
In a
you're
place-
going.
In a place made of pure chaos, order is a bit antithetical.
Oh, yeah, I can see how that'd be a problem. I mean, how do you
the
map something that doesn't
proteins-
stand still?
And the proteins worship chaos like a god. So I'm sure you can see how
Oh.
maps would be a bit of a problem to them.
It's like water to fire,
So,
eh?
cartographer, why did you come to the Maelstrom? Because this particular protein is very interested in you and only wanted you in order to avert a war. Now, if you're
Well-
anything like the director, you're going to be coy and stealthy and wily. But right now, I have put the Legion in a feedback loop. And we'll just throw you overboard.
Well, you see, all right. Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
I'm from the plane of law, baby. You should have known that. Well, look, that's the way I see it. A maelstrom ain't nothing but an axis in the junk drawer. One thing led to another. I'm hired to make a map. Well, when you make a map, suddenly the maelstrom doesn't act like a maelstrom anymore. But I'll tell you the secret. When you make a map of the maelstrom, you can see everything. It's not like a regular map. It's an axion map. We could find everyone's mother. We could find your mother, unless she's gone. But that's besides the point. Now, if you would like a map, all we gotta do is approach the borderlands. Give me a little bit of time, a couple of pencils. Bam! Anything you need.
Listen, if we drop you off at the Borderlands and you make this map, you have got to go straight to Nirvana and never look back.
Beats dying.
Yeah.
I have
yeah,
a question. So, you know who really rules in this area, right?
Who's that?
So, Nethys is quite fond of the maelstrom. And if you are taking away from the chaos that he is in charge of, don't you think that you're going to bring Nethys' rage on you? And I'm not saying anything, to be particular or anything, but I would only fear one god, and that would be Nethys. And I'm charged to kill a god. So, if you're planning on bringing his wrath down on this ship, well, you and Legion can get the fuck off right here. I'll call Clicks right back and send you on a one-way trip to fucking wherever the hell he's taking you. But I ain't having the god of chaos come down on this ship. Not happening.
Oh, he's no god of chaos. He's the god of knowledge and magic. But wouldn't that be why this wizard's here?
The wizard's here for me.
Well, he's your wizard, I hear. Now, I'll tell you what. It's quite easy.
Careful.
The realm of Nethys. Take us to the Borderlands, and it's about a straight shot. However, I would say he's quite allied with the Proteans. These Proteans aren't even allied with themselves. Sub-factions within sub-factions, I don't think you can comprehend how large the Maelstrom is. We're not seeking to destroy any planes here. Quite the contrary, we just want a little sliver, a little slice.
Are you trying
well,
to
therein lies
coalesce a part of the Maelstrom for yourself?
there's plenty of space to go around, but it ain't even for me.
They're trying to make a new plane, Rune.
Who's it for?
Nobody. You've never toyed with the idea of extra-dimensional spaces before. I thought you were adventurous.
Sailix will put his foot on the cartographer's chest and just kind of push him back down to the floor.
Mm,
Who's it for?
the architect. Oh boy.
Sailix will turn
How
his
do the
head
four
to
of you fit into all of this?
fucking gnomes.
Are you all gnomes?
Yeah, the architect, the director, the cartographer, and Steve.
Fucking Steve.
Couldn't said it
It's
better
just a
myself.
yes or no.
Waldo.
Are you all gnomes?
Fine. No.
Are you of a race from the prime material plane known as gnomes?
He nods his head with a tight smile.
Are you pretending to be gnomes?
Honey, why'd I pretend to be a gnome?
That's a fantastic question. I was just checking.
Waldorff, is this back hatch open?
Oh, no, not yet, but it could be.
All right.
What
cool.
does the
Just
architect
two shakes.
do?
He's a builder. A little bit.
Never would have guessed.
Bit of a
Builder of
planner.
what?
Well, if I knew, I'd be an architect myself, wouldn't I? I'm here to chart out some steady waters for my friend, and it seems it's been a little bit tumultuous. So,
Where does the director fit in?
the director, he fits in nowhere. He's a bit of a dropout, isn't he? Oh, that's not to say I've caught up with him anytime soon. What is he up to?
None of your business.
Waldorff, how's that
Don't
back hatch
disparage my
open?
friend. All right, so you have been sent
Look.
here by the architect to find a plot of land, so to speak, for him to build on. Is that the short of it?
Look, all you're doing is carving out a bit of place in the land of the craziness. You think the god of magic didn't do the same? He's just powerful. He got away with it.
And
These
you think
proteins,
you and
they're
the architect
not
can do the same?
all. You give them what they want. You give them me. What they'll do is they'll kill me. They'll turn around and kill you too. There's no promise there. Why would they take you where you need to go?
Well, you see, the thing we're at right now is they're going to try to kill us either way. So I'm not really seeing an upside of keeping you on board.
Well, when I go, you're going to make Legion mad. And here's the thing about Legion. He's not one man. We have friends at our back.
Legion is
Is
apparently
Waldorff
the
open that
culmination
back
of all of the... Legion is the culmination of all of the Zeomorns that were slain, supposedly.
We could find where to go. Hit a city or two, play it safe. Then, if we're lucky, we find Valenhall.
Why would that be lucky?
Valenhall, you want to go to the Valkyries. Of course you want to go to the Valkyries, because those are the ones that were fighting
That's
for
why
you.
they're
They're friends.
fighting for you.
Well, now we are inadvertent allies of the Valkyries.
We can beat them.
Let's get to the Borderlands and go and figure our next steps from there, shall we?
Well, all right. Say la vie. He looks at the dwarf. Waldorff, have you prepared the hatch for ejecting this gnome?
Hand is on the lever. Just waiting for Sailix's cue.
Sailix grabs him by the front of his shirt and nods to Waldorff. And looks at the cartographer. He's like, let's take a little walk or flight. And as the back hatch opens, Sailix's wings will spread out and he'll fly out holding the cartographer in one hand, very loosely, as he just kind of stops and watches the ship continue on. And he looks down at the cartographer and he goes, I want you to see that. Legion is drifting off into the distance of chaos. If I drop you...
Legion's not going to like this.
If I drop you right now, the Protean attacked. I'll blow a hole in the back of the ship and you fell out. He'll never be any the wiser. So let me be clear with you, cartographer. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of Legion. But if you lead my wizard into danger, the last thing you'll be worried about are the Proteans. I will visit horrors upon you that you could only dream of. Do you understand me?
Loud and clear.
Then let's enjoy our flight back to the ship in silence. And he'll kind of like almost drop him before catching him again. Oh, hands got a little sweaty there.
I'm doused. As you make your way back. Now, let's take it to another scene. Diedrich chose the most well-secured residential apartment of sorts in Talisantri. Strange thing, though. Some of the guards that are posted around this place, it's sort of like a fortress. They've reported having strange dreams. Oh, now that Diedrich's missing, an investigation has ensued. Some friends looking to find out where he is. The guard posted outside of his apartment complex, operating during the day. He's having a rough night. He can't seem to sleep for whatever reason. He's greeted by strange visions, and in one such dream, he awakens in a bed of black sand. He gasps for air, which makes no sense for him. He hasn't had air in a couple of years' time. Eventually you get used to it, you forget what it feels like, but he gasps for it before choking in this strange dream. He looks around, lightning and thunder, underwater in an empty, shallow sea. Here's around. No. What is this? Calls out into a void. You said you would do this. Where are you?
So, it was a nightmare?
Yeah, he's looking around, and Vesperin, you're observing this, but you're not involved. You watch him in his sleep from somewhere close by or off in the distance. A deep voice swirling about him. See in his dreams. You. This guard looks around in this dream space you've been transported to. A deep voice. You. She will come to you. Do not speak. She may hurt you. Do not speak. Pain they could bring you is nothing compared to what they will. Stay silent. The dream starts to fade out. But that dark presence, like a foggy cloud of black mist, also seems to dissipate from it. You have a moment where you see there's some clarity before he wakes up. If you wish to chime in this dream state you've peered in on, you can.
Do I recognize the voice? Like, does it seem familiar?
No. Something deep, profound, and artificial. Not anyone you recognize. This guard seems to be carrying the burden of guilt.
The what?
The guard seems guilty and sad. He looks around just in this shallow sea.
V would walk to him, you know, this time dressed like more simply, but I'm still probably like in white or something like that, or you know, yeah, like white with like lavender accents or whatever that are like similar to Desna's colors, and she would kind of just like sit beside him and, you know, start constructing like a castle or something in the sand. And it's one of those things where like with her hands she's kind of half-heartedly doing it, but like the material is just forming and coalescing like just on its own and everything, without like a whole lot of thought, and you know, just like the ease of coaxing. It seems like there's more than just fear that is weighing your thoughts tonight. That you have more friends than you think. Friends that do not need your fear.
Yeah. Is it true?
What?
Don't engage.
It is. Does that change things?
You ought to bring together the elves. It does, yes. I done a bad thing.
What have you done?
They took him. The king. He's not subtle. Took him.
She would continue building the castle, and it gets more elaborate, and outside she'll start to like like in sort of behind it, she'll start to build like little figures of the merfolk. What has been done? It can still be undone. There is still time. And more importantly, there is still hope. Tell your brothers and sisters that no matter how much they try to quash it, no matter how much they try to destroy your dreams, our ideas, you cannot kill a dream, no matter how hard you try. And she would, like, make the wave wash over the merfolk's figures to dissolve them, but the wave splits, so the castle remains untouched. The more of us there are, the weaker they become. Do not forget this.
Smiles, but the dream eventually does fade. Whoever this guard was working with, out of intimidation, he was forced to work against Diedrich. You couldn't find anything in his living quarters. He kept a very low profile during the investigation, and yet they were onto him somehow. It's uncertain as to why. Kai, after you and the Vesperin investigated Diedrich's living quarters, you turned up nothing. Of course, you could clean up his space, but then, what was the next thing for you? Where would you search?
Alright, so you've looked through his living quarters. Did he keep an office anywhere near Kai? She's just sort of grasping at straws at this point, trying to figure out anything that could point to this.
There are several weird leads that you've digged through, but Diedrich had always been tabulating potential issues, conflicts, anything that looked remotely sketchy. He'd document, but there's nothing. It's strangely empty.
So all of his notes and stuff just gone?
If there are any that were important, they're gone. There are plenty of notes here. They mean very little. Just day-to-day things.
Would the Albatross or the Wardens have any sort of code in the notes that he has that are just day-to-day notes? Would any words stick out to her?
Yeah, well, as you're pouring through it, I'll ask, Vesperin, would this be a time for you to arrive at these living quarters?
Yeah.
Kai's pouring through the notes. You see her inspecting Diedrich's underwater office.
Have you managed
She just sort of continues flipping through papers, scanning over them. Nothing yet. It just seems like anything of import has disappeared.
Vesperin would look around the room. Is there, like, basically, mostly, first off, like, I would like to do detect magic to see if there's any sort of, like, listening spells or items or something like that.
Yeah, there is something of a secret piece of parchment.
I'm gonna look at that. But obviously, perception first, because I want to check for
Second layer.
traps.
Second layer of ink. You may roll perception for traps.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's better.
Yeah. Any amount of warmth should dissolve away the invisible ink held along the page.
Since I have like alchemical materials and stuff on me, do I have what I need to reveal it?
It may work. Yeah. Something warm, water boiling nearby should do the trick if you hold it at a safe distance.
Yeah. She would look to Kai and explain, what she just found and what she's going to do.
Are we, silly question, currently underwater, or are we like in a dry area?
You're underwater.
Okay, so she couldn't like summon flame or something.
No. But with a potion,
Yeah.
you should have what it takes to create the heat. As it reacts, it won't take much before you start to piece it together. The letter, Diedrich had been requesting eyes on people, every faction related to Targo. That was the job of the Albatross, to make sure the other factions weren't going to turn against each other for greed. And most of these letters would probably report nothing back, so why was this one hidden? Well, an unnamed source writes to him, Sir Diedrich, I've encountered a strange discrepancy regarding the Crimson Ravens and the Phoenix Guard. Something among the books, it's not as it seems. I will investigate soon, but time is running out. I believe I'm being tracked. Keep careful watch of the Phoenix Guard. They aren't as they seem. Best. The letter isn't signed. We'll return to that. But in the Maelstrom,
Just to clarify, we have Phoenix Guard here in the Maelstrom, right?
Yeah.
we'll
Just
get to
want to
that.
make sure that's
You're
okay.
by
That's
a member
yeah.
of the Phoenix Guard. He offers you breakfast with a smile, as he's been doing for weeks at the cook, the Galton. You awake. Actually, this would be Waldorff, because he might quite like him, actually, for his appetite. He sure likes to cook. On board the ship, you've had smooth sailing.
a couple of settlements here and there. Most of you have probably lost track of time. It's even easier to manage a voyage like this if you're not tracking time, because the place should feel timeless. Suddenly you feel a bump, a heaviness in the air. Legion, you feel something. A calling. Not a moaning, not a crying like a crystal. You hear that always, but that's not this time. Drums ringing out. Drums of war. Approaching the deck, you see once again an innumerable force. Before you, Proteans of 3 types. The standard issue, but then a sea of glowing, shifting, mutable void worms. Other creatures, they scream out of some sort of insanity. They peer around, these things crash into one another, almost sort of merging. Some of them fusing together, some of them breaking apart into many, many void worms. They grow organs just to decay into vestigial members, or to adopt their own senses and sniff out around. It is an army in 3 dimensions, and it goes back quite a bit. You're alone, the lot of you, a few dozen now on this ship. I imagine it slows. See the encroaching force. You do see Mizik Tiliarch. He says nothing. Far off in the distance as this army sways and floats around like bits of broken egg in boiling water. But you do hear drums behind you. Bum. 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 And then a horn or 2 calling out. As you lot look behind you, more organized a bit. Women and men clad in gold armor on the backs of horses, floating gracefully through the air. In the distance, a floating castle. They all look at you, not dutifully, but out of grave concern. Nobody's happy to be in this situation. A war's begun. What you saw before this was a battle. No, this here, I guess some months later now, this is a war. You each have some time to prepare, you imagine. It would take them a long time to approach you in this space, but a few of the Valkyries will approach, dismounting as their horses gallop into the open space. They'll land on the ship and they'll inspect it. This is a thing that will shatter. You best be careful. You can see far off in the distance. They kind of look like specks, but they're actually small castles floating along. Part of the cavalry itself. It's mind-boggling what you're seeing here. Your army, the army you did not choose. They're lined up sort of in a plane, whereas Proteans, They make up this weird aqueous space all around. And they wait. One such Valkyrie, a woman with long brown hair, looks for whoever's in charge. Who would I speak with? She says.
She said in common.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
You're looking at him. Me or him? It's
Legion
kind of like
shares a
gesture.
familiar look with her.
Welcome, Legion.
Valkyrie.
Well, I hope you're ready. And if you're not,
We are always ready.
Speak for yourself, mate.
victory isn't guaranteed, but with bravery, Valhalla might be.
Listen, we're really just looking to get to the borderlands. If you could stave them off just long enough for us to get there, that'd be fantastic.
fucking Sailix would look at Rune like, you can't ask a warrior just to stave someone off.
Why the fuck not? You do all the time.
Well, Legion might tell you we kill deserters. You might not survive the
Deserters?
Proteans either way.
I'm not deserting nothing. I'm trying to get this bloody little shite over to the borderlands.
You're humming in the horizon. As you look out, that mutable condition of the Proteans, it amplifies. You see them starting to form, merge, and come together, getting larger and larger. A pile, quite quickly becoming the size of a war sworn that you saw in Kovlar, but even larger still as they clump together to take some form, some wild, wicked, chaotic thing. As if they wanted something
True.
they could use to swallow you whole.
This will be a battle worth fighting.
With a whistle, she runs in a sprint, jumps off the ship. The horse meets her from below as this beast, like a long, limbless dragon, starts winding towards the ship. Each protean, each void worm, each nonnet comes together to form this mouth, adding these teeth as it slithers over in your direction. But that's where we're going to end off tonight, guys.
Oh. Fuck off.
I just want to hit
Fuck
someone.
off. All right. Well, thank you for watching, everybody. This has been part 3 of our journey into the Maelstrom and under the water. If you thought they weren't connected, well, some evidence suggests otherwise. If you like what you saw, be sure to follow or subscribe, because we will be here next week at the same time, 8:30 p.m. To do more of this. I think we've got 2 or 3 more parts before we sort of wrap up this journey. So if you're liking the Plane of Existence we're in, definitely stick around But let's do our outros, starting with Daniel.
Hi guys, I'm Daniel. I played Sailix Lavender tonight. I made very questionable choices that led us down very dangerous paths, and we'll probably live to regret it. But it's a great time while we're headed there. So if you like what you saw tonight, or if you get to check out the full episode, you can always check it out on YouTube next week. It'll be uploaded in 1 week's time. So if you missed anything or you want to go double check anything, just go back and you can check it out on YouTube next week.
All right, James.
Hi, thank you so much for watching tonight. My name is James. As usual, you can catch me on Twitter at JamesRGlass. I played Legion, Mount Legion, the Einherjar, and Waldorff Skysteel, the Dwarven Cleric. As always, take a look at Patreon and find us at patreon.com/pennyforatale if you want to support us and give us all your hard-earned money so that we can keep making awesome content for you. And yeah, come back and check us out next week and see what happens with this epic battle that we're getting into.
Jen.
Hello, I'm Jen. I go by Savage Sparrow on the internet. Tonight I played the Vesperin. Yeah, you can find me again at all the various social media places as Savage Sparrow. SavageSparrow.com is my awesome website for nerdy apparel and accessories. And I want to also say that Necropunk, the amazing RPG the Penny for a Tale crew is bringing over from Italy, we have launched the Kickstarter pre-launch page, so make sure you check that out and give it a follow so you'll be notified when the project goes live. It's going to be super amazing. There's some really cool stretch goals in there, so definitely check it out. The setting's awesome, and again, we all worked on it, so yay.
Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam. You can find me as Scribbling Penny, Scribbling Dribble, some version of scribbling something on the internet or hiding behind someone else's profile. I played Kai tonight, and I'm very sad and wanting to find Diedrich, so I'm excited for next week as always. To catch our schedule, it will be posting on our Twitch page in an updated format soon, but make sure you check out on Tuesday our D&D campaign with Hearts of Shadows. Wednesday, Brotherhood of Shadows has just ended, but as Daniel said, the VODs will be up so you guys can catch up with that because it was an amazing show. Thursday we have one more D&D campaign with Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Excuse me. And then Friday we will be premiering Call of Cthulhu with RQ Staffan, who will be running that. And finally Saturday we have a return to Alien with Nolan Baltimore, who has been an amazing crew. So make sure to check our updated Twitch page. It should have our actual schedule very soon.
Heck yeah. And Mr. Smith.
Hello, I am Mr. Smith, playing Rude Ravenswood this evening with a touch of Diedrich. But as our devious storyteller noted earlier, if you enjoyed this work, please give us a like, perhaps even a subscribe. And as I'm sure you heard throughout the majority of my fellow players here, there's a lot going on here at the Penny Network. You can always check out our sister station over at Weave the Tale and see what they've got going on. And if you're just wondering what we're up to, feel free to hit us up over at pennyforatale.com.
All right. And I am Ian. Yeah, I was the storyteller tonight, as well as the cartographer. That is it for the show. Yeah, no, there's a whole gnome universe you guys need to explore. Guess what? You thought there was just one of them? No. Wait till you wake up with a goat. But yeah, but way more on that,
Chickens.
guys. You're really
Chickens.
surface there. No, it was chickens.
How did I
It
wind
was
up with
chickens.
an egg?
Yeah, it's shrimp now. Thank you so much for watching. But that's all we have. Subscribe. We will see you next week. Good night.